What is up, everyone? It is Cody here. You already know what time it is. It's time for another episode of the Jeep TJ 1-ton build. On this episode of the Jeep TJ 1-ton build, you see all this tubing that's on the ground. That is the Genright laser notched Jeep TJ roll cage. Fully optioned out from Genright. I got every single piece that you can buy from them for this cage. Safety for me and my family and anyone else that rides with me is paramount, and that's why we did not skimp out on this cage. Let's take a look at the Genright laser notched cage here on the ground. We're gonna get started building, baby. So coming in here, this is the complete kit from Genright. We have all of the pieces. I got the options of dash V-bar kit, rear X-bar, our rear and front seat belt bars or whatever you want to call them, and then the entire cage. This comes complete and it is laser notched. One thing that I really like, and we're just gonna get it out of the way right now, is that this is Dom tubing drawn over mandrel. It is not chromoly tubing like a lot of race car roll cages are built out of. And the reason for that is because Dom and chromoly are essentially the same strength-wise. I say that ishly because it is an ishly, but Dom is heavier than chromoly. So a lot of people will use chromoly cages, and I have the opportunity to TIG or MIG weld this roll cage. With Dom tubing, MIG welding works better. With chromoly tubing, TIG welding works better. So a huge benefit to the Genright cage is that Dom tubing, because it allows someone with just a MIG welder to be able to weld this cage together and know that it's gonna be strong. Another awesome feature of this roll cage is that with the instructions that are step-by-step, you get this put together like a giant puzzle piece. So if we go over to one of these tubes, oh, yep, right there. They have laser etched the part numbers into the tubes. That way you can look at the instructions. Step 1 has this part number, you put this part number on, and you don't have to worry about anything. It is a really, really streamlined, easy process that Genright makes. I want to put a little disclaimer out there to you guys. I am not a dealer for Genright on any of their parts at my shop, QB Industries. I am not sponsored. I paid full price for this thing. This is not meant to be a promotional video. Like everything else on the Jeep TJ 1-ton build, I am picking the best parts for the Jeep here. So just want to let you guys know that this is not a promotion. This is not me trying to sell stuff on my website, because I don't even sell this. So. Step 1 is locating 2082L and R brackets. These brackets are for our A-pillar, and according to Genright, they should fit very nicely right inside of here. I've got a couple wires and stuff that I need to get moved prior to, but these should fit inside of our tub, just like this on each side. So when referencing, A pillar is right here, B pillar is right here, and then C pillar is in the back here. They talk a lot about that in the roll cage. It's just common car knowledge, A, B, and C. So I'm gonna mess with our wiring harness a little bit right here and just get this set in place the way that it needs to be, and do the other side, and then we'll reconvene. The driver's side and the passenger side. A-pillar braces in. Next step is 2081L and R, which are our A-pillar stanchions. That is what these guys are here. And the instructions are saying to get them fit in and loosely mounted with the factory supplied mounting areas, which are these 3 bolt holes here. They go right to our 3 body holes here. Okay, step 1 is complete. You have your brace for the rocker panel inside of here. Bolt it to our stanchion for the A-pillar. measure from the ground all the way up to the top here. On my Jeep right now, as it sits, it's 70 3/4 of an inch, matches on both sides. Bolt this down, which is adjustable, and that completes step 1 on both sides and gives us our mount for our A-pillar portion of the roll cage itself. Step 2 involves putting our B-pillar roll cage base plates in and tightening them down firmly. We had to do a little bit of modification to the passenger side because we did the 1/2-inch bolts up front, but not a big deal. Step 2 also includes mounting our C-pillar roll cage feet. The issue with these is that they, I have a Moto-Built piece here now, and I don't have the hose for it. So this is gonna take a little bit of modification, and we're kind of just gonna roll with the punches as we go. This is our A-pillar side, this is our C-pillar side. It's really cool how it mounts up and then locks into place. You basically have your A-pillar tube here, a little like 8-inch section of pipe that it runs through, and then it keys into each other, so that way you have the whole thing correct, basically. Very, very neat design. I am gonna get this side assembled and keep following the directions. Okay, we've got our main tube run through the Jeep. Problem we're gonna run into is these Moto-Built Highline inner fenders change the geometry of the actual entirety of this thing. So what we're gonna have to do is figure out how off it is and then cut these back portions down to be able to tack weld them into place. So a little bit of an extra process to do with this because of the Moto-Built Highline fenders, but it's something that is a necessary evil and we have to do. Okay, I think I've rectified the Highline fender debacle by putting the B-pillar in, even though none of this is tacked, it's all just sitting here. I put the B-pillar in and basically chopped the C-pillar tube down until all of this was flush the way that it should be. Not like entirely perfect, but perfect enough, and it matches everything up really nicely in the slots. So I think that solves our issue with the Highline fenders. I'm gonna pull the B-pillars out here in a second, tack the A-pillar and C-pillar like the instructions say, and then continue putting in, it looks like the top crossbars next. All right, now that we're back on track, we installed our B-pillar top tube on here. We have a ratchet strap holding it together. It does say hold off on welding it. I'm assuming we're gonna put in a few more of our cross tubes on the top here. These next few steps kind of blend together. So the next step is to put this lower cross tube in, and it just pops into the notches on either side. They say to make sure that you have your part number facing you and that this tube is tilted down, which we have here. And then the step after that is putting this tube in, making sure that the part number on the driver's side is up and your little notches are facing the notches on this bar here. So this is where we're at. We have not tacked any of this stuff yet. It's being held in by these ratchet straps currently, and we're gonna keep plugging away. I am sweating my ass off and really just excited to see kind of the cage coming together. It's cool, so we'll keep going. Okay, our two center supports are in their notches. Tube is pushed up straight against them and square across the board. We are ready to tack this bar, our two crossover bars, and our B-pillar bar. All right, so like normal, I got lost somewhere in left field. So the next step was putting 2014 in, which is our B-pillar. That one was super easy to put in. And then our back tubes running to our C-pillar here, tacked on both sides. The next step was a major pain in the butt, and that is putting in both of these tubes, the upper tube in the back, and then the gusset tubes to the back. Here, this one was Super tricky, and it took a lot of like just finagling to get it to fit correctly. But it is in here now. This stuff, again, is just all tacked. None of it has been finish welded at all because we need to make sure that the entire cage fits first. Okay, after you get done fighting with the top back part of this, I should preface this with, this cage has been super easy to put in. That requires 2 people. I don't have 2 people right now, so it was kind of a pain by yourself. You are going to put these in, they're part number 2091 left and right. And then if you are running the behind the seat bar, which is the straight bar that is in the front of the Jeep here, it says to place that in to the supplied notches on the inside, right there. And we're gonna tack weld all of that into place now. All right, 2091 and the seat bar are tacked in place. With this, I put the tab in the front here opposed to in the back. I don't know, there's not like a ton of room in the back, so we will see how it fits. I believe it, looking at the picture, it's what it looks like it's supposed to be. So now it's saying to put our X bars in. Bottom ones go from the seat bar here, seat bar in the center, down to our B pillar bar. Top one's kind of X in here. So we're gonna get those tacked in place and we'll reconvene. Okay, our bottom X bar is in place. What I did was I measured the seatbelt tube across. It's 51 inches top to top. So half of that, 25.5. Centered it, and then I put the center of these tubes at the center of that 25.5, tacked it into our B pillars. We have our lower X bar in. I am gonna work on the upper X bar now and get back to you guys. Okay, 19 headaches later, and the X bar and seat bar are in. It was a little bit off, so I had to do some modifications to the lower bars just to make the X match. So not a big deal, but next on the list, I believe, is adding our V-bar into the windshield here. Okay, V-bars are in and centered. My favorite joke now is if the roll cage has a V-bar in the windshield, you're gonna wanna wear your seatbelt, so. That one made me laugh a little bit. The puzzle here, the next step is putting your C-pillar rear seatbelt bar in if desired. Like I said, this has all the add-ons, so it has the C-pillar, the entire center here, and the dash V-bar kit. This is the entire kit from Genright, but it's coming along really good. Looking awesome. I love the bend lines and everything in it so far. Just makes for a really nice looking cage. Okay, so we've got the bones of the cage installed. We've got some gussets to put in here, here, the windshield tie-in here, gussets here. I am just concerned with putting these gussets on before I weld all this solid. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start welding this stuff solid, and we'll go back in and put these gussets in on each side. All right, we've got it welded good enough to hopefully try to pull it out of the Jeep. It's gonna be tight, and part of the instructions in the beginning were to cut these out of the way, and I didn't do that, so I'm gonna cut those real fast. Hopefully we'll be able to yank the entire cage out relatively easily, set it down on the ground here, weld the rest of it, and then figure out what color we're gonna paint it, and put it back in the Jeep. Okay, the cage is on the ground. It is upside down, so that way we can go through and weld this whole thing and not worry about destroying our fresh bed liner. Note to self, don't do what I did and spiderweb crack your windshield. Either fold it down or just watch your mirror. The mirror is what cracked the windshield itself. So basically, moral of the story is I hate myself and I have a ton of welding to do on this. So we're gonna keep at
the cage itself here. We're gonna try to get everything welded, get all of the gussets put on, and my thought, and let me know what you guys think, because I think painting it'll be another episode. I think I'm gonna paint it hanging from the engine hoist. So that seems like the most logical thing, or flipping it back over and just painting it on the ground and then getting the last couple pieces with the engine hoist. I don't know, but it's just a thought. I'm still debating on what color I'm gonna paint the cage itself, so we are going to keep at her. All right guys, we are pretty much finished with the upside down TJ roll cage from Genright. Process was super simple. I just don't want this video to be 2 hours long, so that's why we're not gonna finish just the minute like welding we have to do. But the cage is done. It came out friggin' great. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Shop QBindustries.com for all of your Jeep parts needs. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. We'll catch you guys on the next episode of the Jeep TJ 1-ton build.